Darkness settled over the French meadows, but our day of exploration had not come to an end yet. In the dead of the night, we were on our way to a small deserted French chateau, about which we knew very little. Let me take you on a new quest to this abandoned historic landmark as we explore it and go in search of the stories this place has to tell. So, as you can clearly see right now, it's evening time. It's time for an evening explore. It's a long time ago. Private property is already saying here. And we are actually on our way through an abandoned castle. And it should be at the end of the pathway. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening / night right now. There is a sky full of stars. Makes me think about the Coldplay song. There's a car coming, so I have to be careful with my lights. Alright, there it passed. Let's continue. It's very overgrown here, this pathway. So I actually do not have much information about this place. I've only seen one photo so far. So yeah, I guess we're gonna find out right now. Because the building is right in front of us right now. Dang. They really try to close this place very firmly.
Oh ouais, c'est comme un château.
Is it that easy? You have to be kidding me. Have they really made such a firm fence for only this? C'est une truc.
Je vous en prie.
I think lift it and then push it.
It's heavy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was shocked by the squeaking fence. Dang. It's still quite bigger than I actually expected it to be honest. Those tiny castle manors in France are actually called chateaus. It's the French word for it. And yeah, this evening we're gonna take a peek around in such a chateau. The only question is, where's the entrance? Nope, that's not the entrance. Would have been too easy, I guess. The windows over there seem firmly closed too. I guess we have to check out the other side. Or maybe through that building. and actually near the property from behind. Like you can see, there's also a little shed over here. It's nothing. Just a shed, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe the other side of the property, or do you see that there?
What?
They made that fence there, like that used to be a former entrance or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. Anyways, let's show you the shed first. Whoa! There are plenty of details. They had so much tools and appliances here. Calendar from 1996, 1997 on top, 1998 over there. Okay, let's go back to the rest. And let's hope that we actually find that access, guys. Because I do not want to take an L right now. We literally drove all the way to this place. It was not even on the route for 3 hours. And right now I really badly want to go inside. Alright. Hola. They just walked in front of me, but we actually found the entrance, guys. At least it looks like. I'm impressed. There's a bird's cage over there, and also look at all the caskets and the pans hanging on the ceilings. That's a typical French thing. Well, the door right behind us is actually really inviting us to just go through it and find out what's left behind inside of this place. And that's what we're gonna do. Firstly, we come in a little sort of hallway used for storage of their products. Some clothes hanging up, maybe also some jackets back in the days. Some jars, glasses. Looked like this was all packing paper for gifts. Some chocolate and sweets. Let's close the door, by the way. Prevent any winds or moisture or rainwater coming inside. But look, even the key is still on the door. I can even close this door if I want right now. Okay, now nobody can come inside anymore. Not that I was expecting that to happen, but yeah. Whoa, look at this. Actually a very traditional sink. Even still with this old water pump right next to it. All used to be hand driven. And then there was the more modern sink right next to it. Tiny bidet. Could have been a morning coat over there. Everything is even still inside of these little compartments. The razor. They had a little shower here. Oh, and this looks like a huge room, guys. Whoa, everything is actually built out of stone. The walls, the floors. But honestly, this room looks more modern to me than I actually thought the castle would be from the outside. It has definitely been renovated one day. Even if it's only like a fresh lick of paint. And they just whited all the ceilings. All the wood is still laying there. Definitely used to be for, yeah, the stove over here with a furnace. Even bricks of the ceiling have fallen on it. It's quite heavy. Can't lift it off. Yeah, just a normal kitchen. There is a magazine over here, dated from the 8th of March 2012. So that must be the last date, or close to the last day that people actually lived there. Well, and this was, yeah, the room where the family that once owned this little chateau had breakfast, at lunch, at dinner, just all gathering around the table. I also see a letter on the table. Okay, so the family name was Nouvelle. Family Nouvelle. But what's particularly interesting about this letter is actually the date written on it. The beginning of 2015. That's actually not a very, very long time ago. Of course, we've seen properties being abandoned for 5 years in a way worse state, but still, you can tell there's plenty of still like modern things and everyday items left inside. Where they had a cabinet too. I see some liquor glasses over there. Still some food, and you can tell by all the traces left over here, those are actually mice droppings that they've all infested the food and just have all eaten it. Purse laying over here. Cork opener from this strangely shaped stick. Some more purses, but there is nothing left behind from the former owners actually. This was a receipt from 2011 from their bank. Matches are still in the box. I haven't checked out the fridge yet, of course. That's always a must-do if you explore with us. And luckily, it is almost entirely emptied out. There is not a bad smell coming from it, at least, luckily. Well, then let's make our way through the next room. Again, it's such a spacious room, and have a look, it's quite unique how the ceilings have been made in this oval shape. Wow! Look right next to me. It's very unique. Looks like a bronze sort of sink. But this was a reservoir, and over here they had 2 taps. Also still a head on top of it. And yeah, you could lift this up and put something inside. Wooden cabinet over here. And have a look how pristinely all is left. Even though it might only have been abandoned for 5 or 6 years. I think hardly anyone has invaded this property ever since. And all is still left, like it was when these owners left. And sometimes with these French chateaus you think, okay, well, you know, there is a family dispute going on, and that's the reason why they still haven't met an agreement about the shares, about who gets what, and that's the reason why it's still left in that condition. But honestly, in this case, I really think the reason is just that somebody passed away. Still a lot of silver cutlery inside of here. Mind-blowing. Also this tiny bottle of 𝗦𝘁cie. It's a French orange liquor. I quite like it, to be honest. Well, some plates. All the cookie boxes. Look over here. I don't know if you guys know these ones in America or another country where you're watching from too, but we actually also know these cookies in the Netherlands. And now I really want to open it to show it to you. Okay, give me a sec. Alright, I have gloves on, so I'm gonna show it to you. We call those ones lange vingers. That means long fingers if I translate it in English. Yeah, and then those are cookies which are shaped in the shape of a long finger, and they have a little bit of sugar on top of them, a layer. They're quite good, but I'm really wondering from the country where you are watching right now, do you also know these cookies? Then of course, I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Wow, look at this sofa. It's quite unique, and there is also a very old picture on top of it. All gentlemen. Looks like it was a gentleman's club. Maybe the French bourgeoisie. This was in 1884, a long time ago. Incredible. And the gentleman's club was actually in a village that is very, very close to this place. But of course, I'm not gonna tell it. The people were clearly of a very religious belief as well. Plenty of Roman Catholic ornaments. About, of course, Lourdes, place in France, very important in the Roman Catholicism. And also this old picture of a lady with a crucifix, or actually a rosary right next to it. Still candles, dang. It's actually quite creepy. What is this doing here like this? Oh, and this must have been the wedding picture of the couple that lived there. Wow. It's so beautiful because this place is still really unknown in our scene. What is this about? Alright, living in a world of inventions. So yeah, this is all about inventions from each and every year, starting even before Christ. Very cool. But a quite modern book, obviously. Well, I'm actually quite certain that the last resident died, and probably because of an older age. Because there was literally a bed standing in a room that was what I suppose originally not the bedroom. I think this just firstly used to be a living room with maybe seats around those tables over there. Yeah, you can also see plenty of medicines over here on the shelves. The owner must have suffered from a bad health condition, how sadly it might sound. Another wedding picture over here, and it's actually another couple. Maybe it was their brother or their sister. Wow. A massive stone fireplace over here. There are still some portraits of the former family on top. Also a wonderful mirror. Have a look. A wonderful Pfaff sewing machine. Still with its original wooden cover on the ground over here. I'm wondering, would it still be transmitting? Yeah, it's still transmitting, guys. So look, as I move my feet on the table, it's still transmitting. It's going up and down. This sewing machine is in one of the most mintest conditions that I've ever found. Amazing. And then imagine that they would have been doing that a lot when they were still living here, or at least some of the former occupants. Quite common wooden cuckoo clock. And over here in the middle, like I mentioned, there was a table, and there was one thing I wanted to point out in particular, and that was this over here. It's actually a certificate. And it's from an academy. You see? Nouvelle again, a family name, and it was for the woman. So the woman's name was 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. And she was awarded with this certificate in June 1931, so definitely a long time ago. Probably when she was still at the age of studying. Very cool to see how these old diplomas actually look like. Way more beautiful than just a printed piece of paper you obtain nowadays if you get your bachelor degree at a university. But yeah, apart from that, let's just go on to the next area. It's even continuing. There's this envelope, brown envelope laying on the ground. And now we also know the man's name. So the woman's name 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏 and the man's name was René, like it's saying over here. And this could have been their son, I guess, because the picture does also not look incredibly old. So yeah, they might have had a child. But if that's the case, why is the child not saving the property, or at least just closing it? Because it was just widely standing open. Even still, all their clothes, even over there, they are all just still folded up. Everything is still quite well arranged in this place. Where they had also doors, cabinets. Have a look at the fireplace. It's saying something that's carved in it. I think it's Latin. 𝗬𝗏 𝗦𝘁cie𝗿𝗆𝗍. Okay, never heard the quote before, but if anybody knows, then of course, leave it down in the comment section again. Maybe some viewers watching this that actually know how to speak and read Latin. I always love to learn more, definitely from these old historic phrases. Damn, look at the layers of mold on this one. They are way more advanced than the one on the complementary side. Well, I think they're also used to stand in bed over here because you can see the dust mark of this room. Yeah, obviously they used to stand in bed here, so this was another bedroom one day. Actually, the cover of the bed is gone. Only the mattress over there is left. And still a beautiful chair over here. Well, and you saw the tower from the exterior. And those are actually all stone castle shares going up. It really reminds me of the Assassin's Creed castle we've once done in France. If you haven't checked out that video, by the way, guys, go check it out. There will pop up a link right over here. And it's an older video, but I think it's still definitely worth a watch. Oh, there was even a basement. Okay, let's check out the basement. I'm always curious for basements. Well, this massive door over here. Dang, it's even going way more down. Okay, so I've not entered yet, but at least I am expecting to find some wine bottles in a French chateau basement. What the heck? Instead, they have all these cages over here. I think they were for the French cheese, because that was often stored in cages like that. but they had a lot of them. And also not as the stone floor where I'm standing on. All these jars, and they were all used to preserve and can all the food in these jars. Over here you can see the perfect evidence of that. Was done in 2010, and they just put a lot of vegetables but also fruits inside. Even 2004. They did it for the rather scarce times in the winters when there was not that much harvest. There was also cherries in that jar over there. Dang! This is amazing. Have a look. I was talking about wine. Well, instead of solely wine bottles, these people had wine caskets and barrels. They were probably the producers of their own wine. They probably had grounds around the chateau with wine. Oh, I was shocked, with wine fields. I heard something there, so there's probably an animal. But yeah, I'm still gonna go to there. So be it. I hope it's not a big animal. But this is beautiful, wow. I'm impressed. Okay, I'm a little bit scared over here. Because I don't know what I'm hearing, but it sounds big. Anyways, not very much particularly special over here. Even though there were plenty of wine caskets, there is not that much bottles. Only over here are a few left. But I was not expecting this. Wow. Over here in these bottles they used to store the wine if it was for a shorter time period. For example, when they needed to transport the wine and distribute it. The longer storage to make the quality wine itself was actually all in these wooden caskets. And that's the reason why you should always check out the basement. Okay, let's go upstairs again. Over here are even walking canes standing, so I think the people definitely were of older age when they lived there last years inside of this mansion. Dang. Look at the spiral structure going up. It's always very impressive to think how this was once built when there were no modern machines. This was all craft work. All man-made. What is this room? Looks like sort of workshop. This basket is still filled with all onions, dried onions. So strange. Even over here they're all left to dry. Well, I guess these people loved onions. Oh, I think this is one of those very old machines I've seen with Danny in the Portuguese ghost town for the corn. And they would put the corn right on top and it would fall down and it would actually be sorted right down beneath it. And then you could grab it out again. I think this room was mostly used for their harvest on the lands. So yeah, these people were also definitely involved in agriculture. And I think this was another tower. There's nothing inside anymore. Wow, there was a bedroom over here. Let's check out the wardrobe. There's still ties over there. For the rest, it's mostly actually not really a wardrobe, but filled with sheets. Oh yeah, there is something I like. I was already expecting it when I saw the envelope. I think those are all X-ray photos. They're from the Department of Radiology. Let's check this out, guys. Well, the spinal cord over here. Whoa, it's from a long time ago. 1967. That was from the man René. Oh, it looks like the problem was not the spinal cord, but maybe something with his vascularization. This looks like this has all been made with contrast. Those are very old X-ray photos. Nowadays, they are way more sensitive, precisely and detailed. I'm gonna put these ones back where I found them, in this brown envelope. I think all those little pocket books over here used to be Bibles. Yeah, definitely. Religious Roman Catholic Bibles. Written in French. This page about the evangelics. Wow. There's actually velvet over here. So beautiful always to see how religious people were, even if it's maybe only a century ago. I think our new generations to come are definitely not gonna be as religious anymore as people once were back in this time. Good old days. But yeah, times change. We're living in an era of technology where AI is maybe becoming extremely normal, and people will lose their job due to that. But yeah, I think there are many mixed opinions on that topic. Let's discuss that another time. And let's focus on the wonderful relics that are left behind here. This could have been a family ancestor. Still entirely full of plates over here. I don't know why, by the way, but these people literally had onions hanging everywhere, even in this room. So strange. Again, there is a wonderful angle cook stone fireplace. Absolutely love it. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Over there in the center is also still the bellows hanging. The device that was used to actually start a fire. The stove over there. A religious ornament on top again, together with a crucifix. There is a wonderful French grandfather clock in the corner over here, before entering the next room. And this room is quite beautiful too. Have a look. There is immediately a tiny child bed over here. I guess there used to be some chairs around the table. I don't know why the cutlery is just all spread out on top of it. Quite strange. You can still see the old wallpaper of this place. of how it once was. So interesting. Look at over here on these buttons. Guess they were from an old French game. And was this for the toilets? Yes, it was. Old game of domino over here. Why is this jacket covering up this giant water? Whoa, it's squeaking a lot. There's not much on these shelves anymore, only some parts of an oil lamp and other lamps. Look on top of here. There are some very precious items. Some tiny religious statues. Tiny bowl over here. A wonderful French clock. Wow. Seashell, even a globe and some artillery. So many tiny stoves inside this place. From its design it looks like a Godin, but I think it's not. It's a furnace. Also a French brand, by the way. Tiny suitcase over here. But yeah, like I already assumed, it's completely emptied out. I think they definitely had a son, maybe even multiple little children. There was a playhouse over there. And there was also a toy car right over here. Well, lastly, we have one other floor to go. It's actually leading us to the attic. There's so much decay here for only 5 years. It's hard to believe. Well, this is nothing. All right. Of course, for such a chateau, which is quite big in size compared to the usual French house, this was a spacious attic. But why is there again so many onions hanging? Almost on each floor there are ropes hanging, and there used to be dried onions on top of it. Was it maybe a ritual? If anyone knows this, then leave a comment down below, please. I would highly appreciate it. There is another device. Looks like this is another one for those corns. Because this used to be spinning around like this. Wow. Even an old wooden prayer's chair over there. People used to kneel on that part over there and eventually just with their arms on top of that and just pray. Alright, well, not much left over here again, but only this sole bicycle, which is in a very, very damaged condition. And with that having shown people, I think we came to an end point of this night exploration here in France. I'm gonna take off my mask. And I have to admit that I actually really enjoyed just being out there exploring in the evening in the dark. Of course, in the light you can really capture the beauty of a place. And I really like this with those tiny cozy homes and everything. But with a huge chateau or castle like this, like a bigger property, I also really like it when it's dark. It makes everything a little bit more, I don't know, maybe exciting or something. And yeah, just the old exploring vibe is coming back in me. I want to thank you for watching again, and if you want to support us, that's also possible. As always, down below in the video description you can find out our Patreon link and our PayPal link. And then I want to wish you a wonderful week, and we will see you on our next adventure. Peace out.